Self-segregation and insecurity among Indian Muslims, particularly over the last 8 decades, have led them to a state of deep ghettoization, as a result of which Muslims have created exclusive enclaves where they nurture their own reality. But all Indians need to share a common reality even while living in their own religious belief systems. Welcome to The Matrix. Delhi, Hyderabad, Bhopal and Lucknow are some of the cities where Muslims have become used to living in ghettos and slums. Most of them. This phenomena started even before independence. The marginalization happened either due to the insecurities arising from recurrent communal riots or due to the urge of preserving exclusive culture. The question today we ask is, can Muslim ghettoization be reversed? Today I have with me Mr. Mahmood Akhtar, who is a very senior civil servant who served in the important positions in the government. Assalamu alaikum, sir, and welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum assalam, Adil Sahab, and first of all, I am thankful to you that you have invited me to this show, and on such an important topic, I am grateful.
Sir, so I want to pick your mind on this topic of ghettoization of Indian Muslims. Do you think it has led to their isolation on a mass scale? How bad is this phenomena for the country?
Yes, that's a very important point which you have touched, and if I can put it in plain words, the word ghetto is something very negative. It is a restrictive word. It doesn't have any universal amplification. And Muslims in India, since 1947, once the partition took place, I believe they had a mentality that wherever there is a mosque in the locality, wherever there are some food stalls in the locality, wherever their culture with the religion is safe, they should localize to that place. Now, once the independence took place and the country started moving on its development tenets, the Muslims should have realized that, look here, the India which is independent, India which is growing, requires their so-called, not only their ghetto, more than the ghetto living, a community living and a social life, which I believe they have missed the bus so far. The results are glaring, and in fact, if you meet the Muslims living in so-called ghettoized areas, and if you come across some Muslims who are not living, there will be a big difference. Not only in their thought process, in their language, in the way they talk, in their civil manners, and especially on the children which they have.
Right. So, sir, why is it there this thinking that preservation of good Muslim culture is not possible if the community lives in mixed colonies?
I think it is a sort of a fear complex which has been instilled in their minds of the Muslims. Maybe partly because of their own making, and allow me to say this, partly on the making of the community who are otherwise localized, the majority communities or the other communities. In fact, what is the basic tenet of living? It is food, it is a good job and education for their children and a good housing. If that can be provided in an area which is more than the localized ghettos, and if the sense of security prevails in the minds of the Muslims, women, children and the menfolk, I am sure the Muslims will be more than willing to accept a lifestyle like that, provided they feel safe, provided the government of the day, the people who are important, the social fabric, accepts that they are also a part of the intrinsic fabric of the country.
Right. Do you agree that ghettoization and resultant isolation of Indian Muslims could promote radical ideas which are not good for the country?
I will not fully subscribe to this idea that ghettoization necessarily instills in them, provides them with a escape route through radical ideas, but the chances are there. Because, you know why? I am told in Jamia Nagar or in other areas in Delhi where people live in so-called ghettos, the institutions and the social departments of the government and of the society, they are unwilling to go there. Many of the food retail chains, they say, no, not beyond this area. We can't go to those areas where you are living in those so-called ghettos. Right. The school children face another big difficulty. The buses and the conveyance do not go there. So in case the parents want to get their children admitted into schools which are of eminent schools and which are universally accepted schools, or at least nationally accepted schools, they will have to move out of this ghettoization. Now in case they are staying put in the so-called ghettos, they will definitely be through a scale of time and space be pushed into some kind of a radical activity, and there will be nobody to guide them through that.
Exactly.
That danger exists.
Yes. Now I want to come back to the point you were making, sir. Do you think that there is a need to maybe conceive or imagine about developing a housing policy, perhaps where a conscious effort is made to ensure that both Hindus and Muslims live together in a shared national identity or reality? Live together in a place where the children go to the same school, elderly go to the same hospitals. There are elderly homes where both Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs and Christians, they all sit together and discuss philosophy maybe, and also they have their own religious places in that area. So can that be a possibility where you have a housings, say if it is started in one district, this kind of experiment where a conscious effort is made to give representation to all communities for the integration of the so-called minority communities, and see how it works under maybe the administration of a body which looks after that housing society. May not necessarily be in large cities or main city. It could be at the outskirts of the city. Do you think this could be a possibility?
Precisely, yes. This is a Hamletian dilemma, if I can call it so, to be or not to be. That is the question.
Yes.
So if we take the challenge, take the plunge, so to say, and somebody, as you rightly said, takes the initiative in making the Hindus and the Muslims comfortable while staying together in a commune-like situation, and they have been staying like that since early days. Only it has been recently, or maybe 40-50 years, when this ghetto mentality has set in.
Right.
Previously there was not.
Yes.
Take the history of India all the time. Yes. So in order to make them feel secure, the first thing you have to make them that you are welcome here. The housing societies or the colonies or the government bodies, they should, with a big smile, welcome these people in their midst. Right. They should ensure through the RWAs, the welfare associations, resident welfare associations, that some eminent Muslims are made office bearers of that.
Right.
So they have a role to play. Right. They can say that here we are and here we have a role to play and here we can guide.
Right.
Second thing is like to celebrate festivals like Diwali, Eid, Christmas, Holi. It's a national phenomenon which we should do.
Right.
And I believe once the Muslims start feeling that they are welcome there, they will definitely be partaking in such kind of festivals.
Yes.
They will definitely be feeling safe that their children can go and get admitted in good schools.
Right.
Their children can play in the playgrounds along with the other children of other communities. So it will be a win-win situation, and I believe a country multilingual, multi-religious like India has to come to this point today or tomorrow.
Yes, and there will be a bit of sensitivity and sort of adjustments which will have to be made in the larger interest though. But this is not to say that Muslims already are not living in mixed societies or colonies or localities. Like for you and me, we live in a mixed society. But when we talk about the majority of Muslims, they are living in such ghetto settings. Now, I want to ask you that how important it is for Muslims to change the mindset and not necessarily make living in Muslim localities their priority.
Very good question, and I am sure that I think the Muslims may be in their heart of hearts desiring to get such a situation, but they are wary of it. Because many a time the bells start ringing that okay, someday something may happen.
Right.
So once that fear gets out of their minds, once they feel that they are welcomed they are accorded a warm welcome by the other religion people like Hindus, Christians, and whosoever Sikhs living there, And once they are made a part of the social fabric, I am sure this mindset, if at all it has grown to some extent, I don't agree that this mindset has overtaken the bigger population among the Muslims. But in case it has done, it will definitely go away. They will be a part, like Maulana Azad used to say, that Hindus and Muslims have this responsibility of making this country great. And the Hindus have a greater responsibility because they are the majority population. And Muslims have the responsibility to welcome them once this suggestion comes and be a part of the national mainstream.
Right.
That's very important.
Right. At the same time, the minorities also have to be sensitive towards the sensitivity of the majority community. That is also very important. Now, sir, I would like to ask you, what are other advantages of living in a mixed locality,
As I said, the best advantage which such a thing will offer to the Muslim community will be their children's education, their children's growth. They have to grow in an atmosphere which is devoid of any kind of fear, any kind of mistrust. It has to be, as I think the founding fathers of the country and the constitution, they thought India should be having a diverse colors of flowers. Diverse means all kinds of colors.
Right.
So how can you have all kind of flowers if you start living in a ghetto?
Right.
I don't know. If I can tell you very personally, I have traveled officially to Pakistan twice, officially. And at the end of the day, I used to feel, here, where are the Hindus here? Where are the Christians here? So I think unity in diversity, that has been our culture.
Absolutely.
And once this is achieved, we will be happy to go back to the old days.
And we are proud and comfortable in that setting,
Absolutely.
Now, like you said, the community needs to overcome their fear. And like they say, security is just a state of mind. But what other initiatives are required to encourage Muslims to live in mixed communities? What can be done to create an environment that they feel that they need to get out and expand their horizon?
Look, today the world has shrunk to a very small social media, and the social media guides human lives to a great extent.
Right.
We are having WhatsApp groups of different types.
Right.
If certain WhatsApp groups are developed in a way that if there are many of them are Muslims who are members of the WhatsApp group, they should be given welcome messages. First of all, they should feel that the social media welcomes them, appreciates their contribution. Second thing is to observe the cultural and the religious festivals together.
Right.
If they arrange it in the locality, in the commune, and all the religions. I am talking about Sikhs, I am talking about Buddhists, I am talking about Muslims, I am talking about Hindus. So they should partake in those commune affairs, religious affairs unitedly, and they should enjoy. And the third, which is most important thing, is the ladies in that locality should be made to talk together and cast away any fear of mistrust. The children should be made to play together and to partake in some sort of a small cultural festival or whatever, essay competition, writing competition, which the RWAs or the society people can organize, make them feel welcome. Once the identity of the Muslims is established and welcome, I am sure the ghetto mentality will gradually fade away and they will be part and parcel of it.
Right. Mr. Mahmood Akhtar Saab, you came to our studio for the discussion on a very important topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Assimilation is only possible when all communities are integrated into the shared national reality. This is not an easy task in today's day and time. However, if the phenomenon of Muslim alienation is not checked, it may soon turn into a deep abyss. The need of the hour is to initiate a process of integration so that by 2047, all our identities become secondary to our national identity. Some countries have tried this with success. We can do it too. That's all we have this week. We'll be back soon with another interesting episode. Till then, goodbye from the Matrix team.